In this video, I'll not only show you how you can add at least 300 people in your audience every single month, I will show you how to add highly targeted followers who will buy from you over and over again. So much so that with the first 2,500 followers that I built, I managed to make over 6 figures online with just Facebook. In this video, I'll break it all down. Currently, I have under 6,000 followers on Facebook and I managed to make over $400,000 over the last couple of years using just that platform. Now, if you don't know, this is part of the series that I'm doing on how to land consistent high-ticket clients on Facebook, and currently we are in the audience building part. This is one of the more important parts. If you missed previous videos, wait until you finish this one and you can come back. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can get notified with every new video of the series that I release. I release new videos every single week, sometimes multiple videos per week. So without further ado, let's start. So while Facebook is probably the most limited in terms of how much you can grow, it is also the best platform to start with and to build the initial audience and monetize it. And the good news is that you don't need an enormous audience. I'll give you an example. Like, I've been posting on YouTube for the last 5 months or so, and I only got like under 100 subscribers, and you can get 100 new audience members on Facebook in 1 week. So I want you to think about it. I've been posting every week for 5 months, and on Facebook you can do it in 1 week. Obviously YouTube has other advantages, but again, for proactive audience building of like highly targeted potential leads, Facebook is bar none the best, and I'll walk you through how you can do this. There are basically 3 ways you can build audience on Facebook. One is proactive, which is the one I want to focus on today, and the other one are more similar to that of other platforms. You can post content, get noticed, and get new followers. You can be active in other people's communities, which is something I will cover a bit more today. But the most important part, what other platforms don't have and Facebook has, is the friend adding feature. You can go, you can find someone and you can add them as friend. And when they accept you, you automatically follow each other. Now, if you post on TikTok, you can follow people, but they're not going to follow back. On Instagram, 99% of the time, the same thing. On YouTube, doesn't matter if you subscribe to someone, doesn't mean that they are going to subscribe to you. But on Facebook, if you add someone and they accept you, it automatically means that you are following each other. And this is how you can proactively build your audience regardless of other things. Like on YouTube, you need to have amazing content, and on Instagram and on TikTok and on any other platform other than on Facebook. I'm not saying you should have trash content or no content, but I'm saying you can grow targeted audience regardless of your content. Now, real important thing is not just to add friends or accept friends, it's to add targeted friends. In previous video, I went over how you can find targeted places, the groups and people who contain your audience. So if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend checking that out before you select who are you gonna add. But in this video, I'm just gonna assume you watched that video and we're gonna proceed. Now that you found, let's say, 5 groups, paid, free, influencers, we want to use them because they already build audience of people that they already built audiences with our ideal avatar. So our job is now to redirect that traffic, capture part of it, and turn them into our audience members. How do you do that? You want to set aside 30 to 60 minutes per day. Yes, it takes time, but you can later outsource that or automate it. And you want to add, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, like the more the better, targeted people. Again, assuming you followed what I shared in the previous lesson, you will know the exact communities to join, the exact people to follow, and once you do, you can start adding those people and know that 90% of them will be highly targeted and relevant. So let's say you're adding 30 people per day, and let's say just half of them accept, because obviously not everyone will either see or want to accept your friend request. So let's assume you have about 50% accept rate. And if you send 30 requests per day, that's about 15 people accepting you. For a week, that's 100 new people who accepted you who are part of your Facebook audience right now, which means in 4 weeks, you will add 400 people. But when I said you can build 300 per month, I was like, maybe you won't do it every day. Maybe you have a lower than 50% acceptance rate. So I deducted 100. And even with that, you can add 300 targeted people every single month to your Facebook audience. Now, today, when I'm recording this video is end of March. Let's say you started on April, by, I don't know, summer or midsummer, you can have 1,000 targeted people who want to hear from you in your niche. Think about how crazy that is. Now, again, if you want, you can eventually outsource this. I did this. You can automate it. I also did that. I do recommend, however, for the first at least couple of months, maybe 2 months, to do this yourself, just so you learn the ins and outs, like who you should be adding, why, etc. Now, there are a couple of things that you really want to pay attention to when you're adding people, and I actually want to share that. So to show you what I'm looking for, I will share with you my screen. This is my profile. So let's say I landed here. Here are things that I look at and most people look at and that you should probably be looking at. So first I look if it's a human, if he has a normal picture or she, name, last name, whatever. I guess not whatever. I wasn't at first gonna mention this, but this is also important. If they have some fake name, fake picture, like I would probably not add them. So this is one of the first things I look at. Now, depending on your audience, people won't maybe have profiles like this. If you're adding beginners or people who are not doing Facebook organic, they will not have covered on, likely bio, won't be maybe as consistent with their content. So that's something to keep in mind. But what I'm looking at is, again, name, picture, cover, if relevant, bio, and what are they doing. Because if you're adding people who are doing business online, chances are that they will still have a bit of bio, maybe describing who they are. Let's say you're targeting coaches, maybe it will mention something about coaches, right? Another thing that I pay attention to is content. Again, especially if you're targeting people who are active, I try to look for recency in their content, because if they haven't used Facebook for 5 years, it's if I add them, maybe they will never see the request or us. Now, if they're not primarily active on Facebook and you cannot tell that much other than these couple of things from profile, then also in the group you're in. Here we are in my group. Oh, by the way, if you haven't yet, you can join it. It's free. We are over 800 people strong, affiliates, coaches, course creators, entrepreneurs, marketers. Amazing vibe in the group. You can check it out. Over there, you can see their recent engagement, especially like my group is pretty small, but let's say you join a group with tens of thousands of people, you can see if they were recently active, right? Another thing that some people look at, I sometimes look at, is the country they're from. So maybe if you're targeting, like with ads, mostly tier 1 countries, especially if you're selling higher ticket products, a lot of people from like Serbia, tier 3 country, cannot afford. So some people skip adding them all together. I don't skip totally. I try to follow 80-20 rule. So 80% of people I try to add from tier 1 countries, but I also have this 20% flexibility, because a lot of the times people from tier 2 and tier 3 countries still purchase my products and services. So I try not to constrain that too much. Now, there is this thing that I cannot really convey with words all that well, but I do what is called a vibe check. So I check their profile, and let's say look at other things and I'm torn, like I don't know if I would add them or not. You can just tell, like, I don't know, would I have a coffee with this person? Would I have a chat with them? What's the vibe their profile is giving you? And based on that, more like a gut feeling. So I cannot teach you that. You can just feel it and just add or not add. Again, to recap, you check their profile picture, name and last name. Are they like a real human? Were they using Facebook somewhat recently? Now, if you are targeting people who are active on Facebook, then you also want to look at the cover photo and bio. And you also want to see what are they posting and how frequently are they posting in their content. And if you're adding normal people who are not marketing on Facebook, then you also want to pay attention to other things that I mentioned. Now, this is the most important way that you can grow targeted people on Facebook. Be proactive, add 30 people a day, do it for 2 months. Later, you can pay VA $5 an hour, or you can find some softwares. Unfortunately, some decent ones are now gone, so I'm still exploring new ones to use, but by the time you're watching this, they might be up, so you can check for the softwares that can help you automate this process and do it for you. But if they're doing a bad job, I would say it's better to take the time, because it's one of the most important things. Like, the quality of your audience is so important. This is how you can see TikTokers with tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of followers barely making money or not making money, and people with super small audiences like myself. You saw 800 people in the group, 5,800 I think on my profile, and I made hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's more about the quality. So be ready to spend a bit of time checking these people, but monetizing it the right way. Now, another way to gain traction, and this will be tied to our next lesson, I believe, is more about profiles, like how do you make sure people accept your friend request and or send you friend request. So one of the things you want to do is ideally be active in these communities that you join with your ideal avatar, and not just active, but be helpful. Actually, there is this guy, his name is James. He's been active in quite a few groups on Facebook, and he wasn't pitching anything ever. He was literally just being helpful. If he knows answer to something, he shares his insight. He's pretty knowledgeable about affiliate marketing and SEO, and he is in obviously relevant groups, and he's always active there. So first, when he answers a question, a lot of people are like, oh, that's helpful. So they follow him, buy from him right away. Others recommend him, like I many times tagged him when I saw a question that I know he can answer. I would tag him, and he became this like mini authority within these groups, right? And this gives him all this additional relevant traffic. So this is another way you can grow, like just being active in this group. And this doesn't need to take a lot of time. Honestly, you can do this in 5, maybe 10 minutes per day, where let's say you pick 2 or 3 groups, you monitor them, and basically you can just scroll Facebook and you find posts, you find questions that you know you can answer, and you just give value. You're just helpful. You just offer insight without pitching anything, without wanting anything in return. Don't be one of those people who shares nothing and then, yeah, DM if you want to learn more. Not like that. You're literally just being helpful. And trust me, over time that accumulates. I had so many leads out of comments because I would offer valuable insight, and people would be like, oh, that's good. And oftentimes when people like the comment, you know how you're reading comments, and multiple people like it, so it becomes a top comment. It's almost like a funnel. And now more people see my comment and then click on my profile, and some of them become part of my audience. And then I'll show you in the rest of the series how do we take these people and eventually help them and monetize them as well. And the last one is content. There is an entire video dedicated just for content, so I'm not going to spend time here, but basically if you're posting content has broad appeal, this will also potentially bring new people. Now unfortunately Facebook, I don't think is the best for that, because unlike other platforms, especially nowadays like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, who prioritize new viewers, from my experience at least, Facebook usually prioritizes your friends and your followers, not so much people on the outside. So I don't think Facebook, unless you're creating viral content, is the best for viral growth. But again, you don't need a lot of people. You can make so much money with just a couple of thousand of people, which you can build in a couple of months. Quick recap of everything you need to do from the past lesson. You find 5 approximately communities, paid and free, that contain your ideal avatar. Also like at least 5 gurus, influencers. And then you go in their groups, on their profiles, and find your ideal avatar and start adding 20 to 30 people per day to your audience. In a couple of months, you can add hundreds, if not over 1,000 people that you will then monetize. Also try to be active and helpful in some of these communities, and this will help additionally fuel your growth. Now, if the next video in the series is already out, you can check it. If you missed some of the previous ones, you can also go back, and don't forget to subscribe to get notified for each new video, and I'll see you in the next one.